Hi, I'm Kent from Guildmeg, a writer for Guildmeg, and I'm here with Colin Johanson and Isaiah Cartwright, and we're here to talk a little bit about Heart of Thorns today.
Hey, Kent.
Hello.
Alright, so, just gonna throw questions out there.
That's good.
So, if you can't answer them, that's fine.
Okay.
Kent, when it's ready.
It's ready. Soon. Okay. We know that the new Revenant characters will start at level 1. Generally, that starts at the beginning of the personal story. How does that play into the fact that the Revenant didn't come along until after Season 2? So how do you plan to tell that part of the story?
The way it kind of goes in, I mean, a lot of our stories are a lot more race-based. And so it'll really be telling the choices that you made during character creation. And it'll really continue to tell those same stories that you play together. You will be able to play it with the new Revenant during those, but we're not going to make any large augmentations to those stories for the Revenant.
All right. And then, as an add-on, can we expect any revisions or polishing to the existing personal story beyond restoring the Greatest Fear arc and revising story steps?
So revisions to existing personal story. Obviously, there's some cleanup work we need to do to fix some really weird stuff that happened a while ago that broke some of the story steps. We've been working on that for a while to make sure that we get it right. When we do that, we're going to make a few dialogue changes here or there to just try to improve a little bit of the VO and change some of the lines that didn't read as well as we liked, things like that. That's about all we really have time to do right now. We're really focused on developing the expansion and making sure that we get that right. And ultimately, one of the things that we've seen is the more time we spend revising over and over again things that already exist, generally just doesn't buy us as much as trying to do new things and continue to push the game forward. We spent a lot of the last 2 years doing a combination of let's take things in the game that we already had and find ways to try to improve them, as well as build new things. And we're at a point right now where we feel like the core base experience in the game, with the addition of the things we're adding in Heart of Thorns, is the game that we're going to have. And we really want to focus on let's grow that experience going forward instead of going back constantly to tweak things. So I think you're going to see very little changes to the core world that we've already built, short of adding things like mastery points to that core world, or the ability to keep playing back through it. We want to keep it really relevant and give you reasons to play there. But we're not going to make very many changes to that existing world, storyline or otherwise. I think the cost of that comes from us being able to build great new things. And ultimately, our players have showed us they're more excited about new things than us continuing to tinker with stuff we've got.
I was actually going to try and get questions from this. All right. Will new legends be unlocked through the story or with skill points? If not skill points, will the Revenants have a use for them?
So we haven't gone too much into how those things all are tied together. We'll go into a little bit more of that when we start talking about specializations. And so as more of that information kind of unveils, we'll go into bigger detail about exactly how all of that plays out.
All right. What factors go into deciding a particular or what a particular character would make a good legend for a Revenant?
Really looks back over Guild Wars history and find those moments where a character has really done something that people will talk about for many, many years to come and is a very powerful character. And that kind of leaves a deeper signature in the mists of them and allows you to do a lot more channeling of their powers. And so characters who have made larger impacts in our history will be things you'll most likely see.
Would you say Oink the Pig qualifies as a candidate for a legend?
Invulnerability?
I think Oink is very, very powerful and a highly likely candidate for a legend.
Actually go over some of these to save time. This week you Colin, specifically mentioned the or shown off the wyvern during the demo. Have you, like, the Heart of Thrones content is, have you guys put a larger focus on putting in more challenging, skill-based combat, sort of like, Tequatl, the Vine Wrath, a more large group, collaborative content?
Yeah, we said in our initial announcement about Heart of Thorns, and we've continued to reiterate this point over and over again. And I know people want more details, but we've said challenging group content is one of the pillars of the Heart of Thorns experience. We've showcased a little bit of what that'll be like in the open world. The wyvern that we've shown in the demo so far is sort of a baby wyvern in the grand scheme of things. It's kind of an introduction to that. But that's just a world boss, right? Like, I think if you think about the core Guild Wars 2 world we have today, that would be like running into an event boss out in the open world. That is not a Tequatl. It is nothing like that. And I think we've shown it's much more interesting fight, and a next step forward for the way creatures can work in Guild Wars 2. I think some of the just regular mobs in the demo, like the Mordrum Court that you fight at the beginning, certainly have abilities that are more interesting, and make the open world more exciting, or instances more exciting. That's the stuff we've shown and we've talked about so far. Challenging group content will extend beyond that. And we are going to come back later, between now and the launch of the expansion, and go into a lot more detail about the areas that we're focusing on for that. I just say again, we expect that to be a pillar of the game. It coincides strongly with the mastery system. The mastery system is how you gain abilities that let you overcome challenges, and we are going to add challenges that you need masteries to overcome, or that help you overcome those as well.
And just to add in on that too, we're really trying to make the whole jungle area more difficult. I think a theme of jungle is danger, and so everywhere from the way you navigate being dangerous to all the creatures, everything is going to be more dangerous. And you can kind of see that even in our demo. We've definitely added a lot of danger, and we will continue to push that and make the story instances harder, the open world harder, everywhere in the game that we can, more difficult and challenging for players.
All right. Let's see. Okay. So, can we expect any improved AI for the allied NPCs in PvE gameplay? A while back, we got like a mention from Dave Marks, who works on the AI on the game. So what can we expect in terms of changes in Heart of Thorns with the, I knew I was going to say that.
It happens all the time.
So we're really trying to build some kind of a toolbox for us to be able to do lots of different things. And so the new features that we have in there, we're kind of utilizing lots of different places. I think you'll definitely see lots of improvements to the way all of our encounters are set up, especially on the enemy and even on the ally side.
Right. With the guild changes coming, how have you considered doing anything with an alliance system, improving guild collaboration in game?
Yeah, so that's another one that we really haven't gone into much detail about. We've said there's going to be guilds, there's going to be guild halls, and making guild progression a more meaningful part of the Guild Wars experience. And we haven't gone into a lot of details about what that means. That's something we're going to talk a lot more about between now and the launch of the expansion. I do think it's really important for people to understand what we want to do with guilds is make them one of the pillars of the game. We want it so guilds are an important component of PvE, of PvP, and of world versus world. And they feel like they are visible, that you can see what they do, that they make a difference on the game, and that they're great experiences to be in our social communities. That's what guilds should be all about. And broadening the ability to join and be a part of social communities and have them interact together. All of that is the type of stuff that makes guilds better. And so we're well aware of that. And as we continue to build out, and get ready to reveal what we're doing with guilds, I think people are going to be really excited about the stuff we're doing with it. I think, it's more than just, hey, let's just give them a guild hall. So.
Yeah, and it's really about giving tools for the community to do many things, because we know there's a lot of different sizes and shapes and styles of guilds. So.
All right. Legendary Precursors. are they going to be, because you get them through collections now, or will be able to, will they be account bound, or will players be able to sell them once they acquire them, like other precursors in the world?
Yeah, they're account bound. It is you, as you spend mastery points and train those lines, you unlock these collections. As you collect collections, you build up towards getting a precursor. You can get one of each precursor per account because they are collections. So as achievements, you can only get one. So you can earn one of every single precursor in the game through this system. And each one that you receive is account bound, that you can use towards building out for that next step to build your legendary. Correct.
Thank you. All right. And for a final question, looking into the future, what kind of balance do you see between, expansion content and then living story content? Will there be 1 or 2 chapters, and then an expansion, and then another 2 chapters? Obviously, things evolve, but...
Yeah, we honestly, right now, we don't know. We're really focused on building the expansion, making sure that that's everything that we want it to be. This expansion is so important to the future of Guild Wars 2 as a game. We're really laying the core foundational wiring, of how we want to grow each of the core components, from guilds to challenging content, to the way that your professions change with a specialization system, to the way that you get progression through the mastery system. Some of the things we're doing about world versus world in PvP, having stronghold, all of those are kind of the pillars that each part of the game is going to grow on. And so we really need to make sure that we get that right. And that is our focus right now. When we get the expansion to a point that we love it and our players love it and are telling us that they love it, then we're really going to take a look at, what stuff comes after it. But today we're not at a point that we're going to talk about any kind of cadence yet. It's full steam ahead on Heart of Thorns first.
Makes sense. All right. I just want to say thank you for your time today. It was fun talking with both of you about Heart of Thorns. I hope that everyone who plays it enjoys it. So I know I did. So, all right. Thank you.